circulation.
Surface.
Gyres. Gyres.
GYRES.
And then the garbage patch.
The famous garbage patch.
Yeah.
Is there a dance move called the garbage patch?
Yeah, it goes like this.
Wait, what?
No, it doesn't. I'm sorry.
Something over there.
So first up, we have surface ocean circulation. So surface ocean circulation describes the movements of water from 0 to 100 meters below the surface. And since this is so close to the surface, surface ocean circulation is mainly caused by wind currents. So the surface ocean circulation carries with it organisms, nutrients, and heat, and salt.
Wait, I have a follow-up question. Wait, it was.
Yeah, Madison, you want to go wait till the end?
Yeah.
So here's a quick map of of the surface ocean circulation around the world. It's kind of small, so just look at it when we pass it around. So aquatic organisms are affected by surface ocean circulation greatly, as it affects their migratory patterns, and also the things carried by surface ocean circulation, nutrients and heat, and salt. Aquatic organisms are greatly affected by those. Humans are also greatly affected by surface ocean circulation, as surface ocean circulation and the heat it carries affects local climates in coastal areas. For example, if there's a surface current that has a lot of heat in it, then that will accelerate the formation of clouds, leading to more rain. So humans are impacting surface ocean circulation because of the heating of the atmosphere. Basically, heat is distributed unevenly throughout the ocean, with it heating like the uppermost parts of the ocean first, and when there's less warming, then the warmer layers and the colder layers, they'll mix, and basically, so wind currents also affect the ocean unevenly. Obviously, the wind currents will affect the uppermost layers of the ocean first. And because of the mixing between the warmer layers and the colder layers, then the energy from the wind is transferred throughout the whole ocean, making it so that a lot of water is moving because of these winds. However, with atmospheric warming, there's less mixing between the uppermost warm layers and the colder deeper layers, which means that wind is mainly affecting the uppermost layers, the 0 to 100 meter layers, and that energy is not getting distributed to the colder, deeper layers. So this means that surface currents will flow faster because of atmospheric heating, and this has already been observed. There's already been about, I think, 15 or 20% increase in the speed at which surface currents are flowing, and this is really bad because that'll impact the organisms. It will impact us and our climate, and so we really need to figure out a way to prevent this.
Okay, so another part of, we're talking about a lot of current stuff here. There's these things called gyres, and gyres are basically, you know how in the Coriolis effect, like the wind is trying to go straight, but it's going to the left or right? It's kind of the same thing with these currents, and because of the wind patterns, they're being kind of pushed to the like left or right, and they're kind of making a circle like that. So that's a gyre. It's like a giant eddy in the ocean. It's a combination of all the currents in the area. So they're all over the ocean, and yeah, do you have something to say?
Yeah, sorry. So the term gyre can be used to describe any vortex pattern in the atmosphere and the surface and the oceans, but in this case we're talking about the very large circular systems. So there are 5 major gyres: the South Pacific Gyre, the North Pacific Gyre, North Atlantic Gyre, South Atlantic Gyre, and Indian Gyre. Obviously, these are named from the oceans in which they're found, and if applicable, whether in the north or southern hemisphere.
Yeah, and gyres are really important in thermohaline circulation, which there's a whole other presentation on. But thermohaline circulation is just basically how heat and salt and nutrients move throughout the ocean, and these gyres play a big part in that. You can see here's thermohaline circulation with this like ribbon looking thing, and you can see where the gyres are over affecting them. And also a big part of gyres is in the middle of them. There's kind of these areas of calm water because, you know, everything's going around it, and this is where a lot of debris can pile up and get stuck there for a really, really long time, which we'll talk about later.
So, just to give an example of how a gyre is formed, we're going to be looking at the North Atlantic Gyre. So, gyres are formed because of currents, but also because of land masses, because land masses will redirect water. So basically, for the North Atlantic Gyre, you have water being affected by the trade winds going west, and then this water will hit the Americas, and that forces the water northeast, and this northeast traveling water is then pushed east towards Europe because of the westerlies, and then finally the European continent pushes the water back down south, where it can be influenced by the trade winds again, creating this loop.
Yeah.
This is the same example that's in the textbook. So if you want to like look at that again, then it's in the textbook.
Yeah. So now we should talk about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and it's obviously found in the North Pacific Gyre, sorry. And if you look at this diagram here, it goes in a circle, and there's actually two patches that are kind of connected by the gyre itself. There's the Western Garbage Patch and there's the Eastern one. There are a lot of other garbage patches actually forming around the world, but this is the biggest and the most famous one. The patch, you would think it's made of a lot of big plastics, but it's actually made of mostly microplastics, which is due to something called photodegradation. So when the plastic is sitting on the ocean like that, just on the surface of it, the sun beats down and kind of breaks the plastic up. And as we know, plastic doesn't biodegrade, so the sun just breaks it down into these really tiny microplastics, and it's kind of making this cloudy soup in the area. This is a really big problem for algae because algae can't photosynthesize because it's not getting enough sunlight because of all these microplastics in the water. And shrimp often eat the plastic by mistake because it's kind of the same size as algae.
In addition, I